the raw pre-show, killing the piano and muting the mic, and here we go with the intro. Guys,
All the noise.
guys, come on! I'm trying to start my show. Guys, no, come on, stop! All right, that's it. I'm starting the show.
Damn it.
Ugh. This show is not for kids. This show is about chaos and talking over coffee. So let's get going. Call me the DarkTranny. All right, and we are back on a Monday. Happy Monday, people. I don't know which day it is. It's some day in October. It's October 17th. So, we will be getting back to a topic we were just about to talk about in the pre-show regarding ghost cities. And I think that they're in China. But before we do, I want to bring up that during the pre-show show, we had the stylings of King of Casual playing in the background. You'll find King of Casuals. One of the links to his newest set is right here in the Odysee chat. Also, yesterday, I happened to catch the American Rant show where Reverend Rant spoke about American narcissism. For anyone who would like to catch that, here, I'm just going to drop Reverend Rant's linky into the chat box in Odysee. He had a guest on yesterday. Our own moderator, Feisty Ace, was on, and they had a very spirited discussion. And Feisty even got to rant a bit. And the no more tolerance aspect of what they were speaking of, I is the word condone or I approve? I approve. So, if you would like, please go check out American Rant, Reverend Rant, and listen to him rant on a Sunday. I believe he does it every Sunday. Now, am I missing anything, Kelly? And we have host Kelly Girl in the show today. This is our 1 hour show, as we will be segueing into 45-1 Actual's Big Dick Energy Brigade radio show after this show. So, Kelly, is there anything that we would like to touch on before we go into the Ghost Cities topic?
No, I just want to say hi, everybody. I'm glad you're here with us.
Isn't it amazing that we're still alive?
Yes, thank God.
Right?
Thank you. Thanks. I that's something I try to do every morning when I wake up. Like when my eyes pop open, I'm usually like, "Thank you, God," because sometimes when I go to sleep, I'm not sure. You're just not sure. You never know. Every day, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my existence and my ability to be here and my ability to share information through this forum with Kevin and I don't know, the DarkTranny followers. I don't know what we don't have. I don't do we have a what do you call it, a moniker or whatever? What we're called? I don't know.
What does it do? What is your definition of monitor? The definitions keep changing.
No, moniker, like
a moniker.
Like the chopper and like the ferns, I guess, are in the pond. And
I say that they are the savages. These
We're the
people
savages.
are the savages, and
Yeah. I
who
love
is that?
That was me, Savage.
Yes, yes. And I'd like to point out that I have made some layout changes. As much as I enjoyed watching Biden shit on Kamala and with our dancing MAGA king in the corner, it was pointed out to me it can be a little distracting. So I hope that this what kind of Pepe would you say this is? This is a serene Pepe. I hope the serene Pepe can find a home here. I think that that this Pepe is it pretty much it summarizes the show. Except on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as you know, the long format shows can get rather chaotic. And I think that those are like, those can totally go off the rails, and we love that Totally love that. Show
Well,
me your war face.
that Pepe to me looks like he's serene, but he also looks like he's very inquisitive. So
He is contemplating a lot of happy thoughts, is what that Pepe is doing. Now, does anyone have the? I want to get into the Ghost
here we go.
Cities, and I
Here we go.
also,
The video. I
pardon?
have the video. I try to put it up, so it's a little bit long, so we probably won't be able to play it here. But
What
this
is
is
it?
where it's the. Hold on, I'm trying to get it. Chinese economy is in bad shape, and it's cold. Is this the one? Cold fusion. Hold on,
Well,
Hudson.
okay, while you're
Yeah.
looking that up, I want to know, does anyone have that image of that weapon done up like a pony? Because I lost that link, and I'd like to show that one again. That was so cute.
Okay.
So if anyone can pop that in here, I know it's going to take like, several seconds. And
I should. I try to have these things ready, and then I couldn't find it, and then I found it, and then it's yeah. I'm just not on the tech level yet, but we'll get there.
Welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion.
Talking.
well, look at that. We're
Considered the source of financial stability for a family.
well,
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love how this works. Now, someone, I forget who sent me this link, but it was an influencer, Ali London, shares he's detransitioning back to. Oh, shares he's. Now, the syntax is kind of confusing. Either that or I had a stroke. Um, I won't be going into this today, but I will be viewing this later. So I forget who sent this to me. Thank you. I will be reviewing this later. Oh, let's see. I don't know why I pulled this up. Apparently, this doctor didn't believe that this woman had COVID-19, and then she found a way to make them listen. And I guess it was by having a bunch of sensors attached to her. This is a story. CNN, I don't know what in hell kind of like drama they're trying to like throw up, but I just like this woman, let's just pray for her just for a moment. I believe her name is Shimmeray L. Smith. If this is like really happening to her, and if this isn't a drama piece, and if this is actually legit, yeah, this woman needs some divine intervention because apparently she's having a bad way of it. So, prayers going out to you, Shimmeray. Oh, wait a minute. This is an opinion by Shimmeray. Wait a minute. Who are you? Callie? Do we have a case?
I don't know.
This is Shimmeray talking about Shimmeray. Girl. I don't know who you are, but okay. Prayers to you anyway, because I'm not about to start judging someone who's having difficulty. If you're having real difficulty, then definitely you need some help. But if you're just making an article, just to make an article and stuff like that, I've got questions, but I'm gonna put my judgments aside because that's not how I want to start the week. So, yes. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with her. So I put the link in the Jitsi chat, and then I tried to do the thing that 451 taught me yesterday, and I don't know.
Oh, here, I'll copy the link address and I'll throw it in here. Oh, and before we go on with the link Kelly is providing, Pastor Shadler and I are sharing a Twitter account right now. It is called at Darth Salt. I'll drop that right in here. On Twitter. If anyone would like to follow, this is mainly, this is Pastor Chatelet's, whatever Pastor Chatelet does. Pardon me, one moment. And you guys know, Pastor Chatelet gets up to some very interesting, what do you say? He's got the sermon aspect, the God aspect, which is very important. And then he's also got the, what do you call it? When he goes out in the field. You guys know what Pastor Chatelet does. Anyway, if you want to follow him on Twitter in this rendition, that's our linky out there. Burnt Hair by Singed. A new scent from Elon Musk. I don't even know where to start on that, but apparently it might smell like cinnamon. I have no idea. Let's see. Now we're getting to
Burnt hair
chaos.
doesn't smell like.
What's up?
Okay, so this is the burnt hair does not smell like
No,
cinnamon.
burnt hair does not smell like cinnamon. Absolutely not. I'm going to go over here and make
Okay,
sure that we're set up properly for 30 frames and all that rot. We are. All right. What are we looking at here, Callie?
okay, so this is the Chinese economic is in bad shape, and Cold Fusion is the content creator and just presented a lot of information. And he was showing how China is has been screwing its people, stealing their money, and using that money as for other projects than what the money's for. So here's how it goes. So the Chinese people want to buy a house. Okay, you're going to pay your mortgage for the next 3 years while we're building your house. In the meantime, the developers are starting a new development, and they're using that money that you're giving for your house for the new development. So they're
Really?
not developing. Yeah, they're not developing the money you've been paying for 3 years on a mortgage for them to build you a house. They're not using that money for their houses. So part of in the video, you'll see the Chinese revolt, the Chinese people revolting. But the main thing is that they had these blocks and blocks and blocks, and they show them. There's video evidence of these ghost towers that have been are being paid for by the people uh, for years, and they're not they look like that whole area right there. I don't know if those are actual ghost ones, but it'll be a whole bunch of them. Like I don't know what they said, how many millions of them are not finished. So the developers got in trouble by China, and they said, we're not loaning you any more money until you finish your old projects. But that stopped everything in the process because they were using the money to build this place from the money they got from the people that are paying their mortgages.
Now, why do you
So, and
suppose
go ahead.
why do you suppose they would build these? If we just like work on speculation and the current WEF agenda and the things that we hear through civil engineering, why would one suppose that they would be making such dense residential in a very cookie cutter kind of way?
Well, they start the video off talking about how there's 35 million more men than women. So you got that situation where they had their one child policy for a certain amount of time, and those children were all men. They were aborting their female babies,
Yes, and let's not
and
forget that that was a thing in China, and it may still be, and they're not saying, but go on.
well, I heard that it wasn't anymore. I heard at a certain point, and I don't know because I didn't really do any research. I just heard by word of mouth that they had changed that, and that's how. Because see, what happened was at a certain point they had a lower population than we did in the United States, and then they realized they wanted a bigger population, so they pulled back that one child policy, and then they were actually forcing people to have children. I don't know. I haven't researched any of that. Um, how I came to know about the Chinese using these ghost issues was in Canada. This is where I first became uh, knowledgeable about it. In Canada, they were having houses, ghost people. Okay, so there's Chinese ghost people. So are there really a billion Chinese people, or do they get to have four identities? So every time they go to a different country, they become a new person. So they are the person, but when I go to Canada, now I'm a new person, even though I'm using the same name or whatever, but I'm going to get the benefits from Canada. So 40 of them will be living in one house, but but only one person is in the house. So there's 40 ghost people living in the house, and those are 40 people that have an identity and they're documented. So that's part of the documentation and the undocumentation. They want you to be undocumented, but then when you get here, you're going to be documented. You're going to become a documented person so that they can give you money and charge money for you being in that country. Um, Did I explain that right? I don't know.
Well, this is your interpretation of how you're taking in the information. I myself am only lightly acquainted with the topic we're speaking of today, and that's why I pulled up this article. And I'll just start with the first couple of paragraphs and just read this. Extravagant monuments, spacious parks, modern buildings, and interconnected roads would all seem to indicate a bustling metropolis. But in China, there is an increasing number of uninhabited ghost cities that seem to have been abandoned after years of construction. It is unclear how many of these Chinese ghost cities currently exist, but estimates put the number as high as 50 municipalities. Some of these cities have yet to be completed, while others are fully functioning metropolises, save for the lack of residents. So they're fully functional, they're consuming resources. No one is paying taxes, or however, I don't know how the Chinese Communist Party collects taxes. I imagine it's on some sort of flat rate or something. The occurrence of these ghost cities across China has, unsurprisingly, attracted significant attention from international observers. All of them are bizarre, all of them are surreal. There's no other way to describe a city meant for thousands of people that's just completely empty, explained Samuel Stevenson Yang, who is a photographer working to document this modern Chinese phenomena in an interview with ABC Australia. In this case, we are taking the word of a photographer, not anyone who actually works in the Chinese Communist Party or any of their government affiliates. I would imagine, now this is where my conspiracy aspect comes in, that they won't get an answer from the Chinese Communist Party because there's a certain amount of pride and
Yes.
ego which cannot be questioned in their government.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if they're fully functional, it means that they are sucking up a lot of resources. I mean, here we have a representation of the Eiffel Tower, and who is, I mean, it doesn't, if this is a young man walks through an abandoned apartment in via construction near Shanghai. Well, this is unfortunate if they are taking the people's resources and
Yep.
building just to let things rot.
Yeah.
I
And those are not functional buildings. I'm sorry. There's no electrical in them. They're just skeletons. And China's not the only place that has them. There's some in Russia too. This is not. I don't believe this is anything new, and I actually believe this is money laundering to a certain extent, and it's a lot of things that we just don't really understand.
And how would we understand if there is no transparency? How do we possibly, and I want to look at the chats. The chats seem to be moving right now. I want to thank Zero Diesel. Thank you so much. Or am I reading your name incorrectly? Zero or Die. This whole entire time I thought your name was Zero Diesel. This is a problem with getting old. Thank you, Zero. Thank you so much. Let's see. Running millions on a
Yeah, and
budget. Hmm?
uh, the super trucker saying that a lot of the times they have relatives that run these companies, they skim the money off the top. And yes, absolutely, we know that's what they're doing with the homeless money in the United States. The 30% goes right off the top to the consultant. So we're giving them $1 billion every year to help the homeless. 300 million of that's going right off the top to the consultant. And then they also have the company that's going to build the place. They own the land that's going to be right next to their stuff, so that they can develop that land and build the grocery store and build the Planned Parenthood and build the doctors on duty and build the dentist and all the things. So even though it's homeless people most often qualify for health aid. So they definitely want to have a doctor there and they want to have a dentist there, because that's where they're going to make more money after they've already taken their 30% right off the top. So yes, we know these land deals are definitely something more nefarious. But the ghost cities, and then also them coming to other countries and having 40 people live in one house where there's only one person actually living in the house, but there's 40 people that are collecting food stamps, SSI, or some other, and I knew this was going on because, my dad kind of did something similar. He had to be in the United States a certain period of time in the year to get his medical and his whatever, and then to recertify for his, because every year if you're getting a check from retirement or whatever, you have to recertify that you're alive. You go to the the notary of the public, the notary,
Let's call it
and
the archivist. Oh, and let's take a moment, Callie, before we go on. Let's identify as archivists. We are archivists.
I'm a librarian, and I identify as a librarian, and I have a lot of information up in my dome that is cited works, and it's also copyrighted material, and I do not consent.
Yes, YouTube, fuck you. We do not consent. So, on with the notary.
Yeah, so they have to, if you're getting a retirement check or something from somewhere, they want you to, certify once a year that you are who you are, you're still alive, and that you're still getting your money, and that they're giving the money to the right person. So there are processes, and so I'm kind of familiar with that. Where your money might be in one country, but you want to be living in the other country. But he was not collecting a check in the other country that he wanted to be in. He's drinking beer and having fun with his friends.
I um I want to segue to two different things. One, I want to throw up this image, Callie, and I want to ask you, do you see this image in Jitsi?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a snow crab?
Let them eat
Bugs.
bugs. Oh,
But,
we're gonna eat.
well,
No, we're gonna eat bugs.
they're going
Bugs.
to eat the crab. That was just back to that
It's,
story about the snow crabs. These motherfuckers want us to eat the bugs while they have the
oh, it is
same.
crab.
It is. That
It is crab.
fucker. I don't know who that is, though. That looks like something between Adam Schiff and several other. All these old white men all look the same to me. I don't know who the fuck this is. But that hair is pretty fucking awesome. Love the tits. Okay, back to the bustier. Let's go on back. We're going to get back to the China thing. Callie,
No,
this is the moment of chaos. I wanted to point something out and then we can get back. Did you guys know that
I
Planned
love it.
Parenthood, you see this Planned Parenthood? For people who didn't know, did you know that they're dealing with transgender hormone therapy? That now
Uh,
Planned Parenthood
that's
somehow
horrible.
is offering puberty blockers and stuff. I just wanted to point that out. And then we'll get back to China. I am sorry for the segues, but I felt that that was information which
Money, money, money,
it's this fucking,
money,
it's this fucking
money, money,
communism, man.
money.
It's just this, build shit that no one's ever gonna live in, launder the money, and then, chop the babies up and make them something that they never planned on being. It's fucking communism, man. And that's why it's like when Reverend Rand and Feisty were talking yesterday, it's like we can't tolerate this shit anymore. I mean, even people who are Democratic voters are realizing that the shit's gone too far. Do we want
Yeah, I think what I first found out about China is they made the China Disneyland, and it was not, they never, I don't know if they had never opened it or whatever, but that's how I first found out that they were building shit that they weren't using.
and why would they be doing
I
that? I
mean,
mean,
what built? I
let's
don't know,
let
and have they been doing this forever? Because oh, okay, so another good creator I was watching, her name's Michelle Gibson. She's on YouTube, and she's talking about the ancient cities and stuff,
mm-hmm.
and how they're covering up. She talked about in relation to the United States of America, and she shows how the major cities were built on a straight line. And she shows, I mean, we know we got Highway 66 that goes all the way across the United States. Why was it built there? What were they trying to hide? What are they covering up underneath what they built? It's because our history isn't what we've been told it is. The history is wrong. The data is wrong.
The
So, and as a
data is
statistician, I
wrong
know
and
you.
it's skewed.
as a statistician, I know you can just be like, oh, okay, so it's all a fucking lie. Because if the status are if the data ain't telling you what the data's supposed to tell you, then your analysis is wrong.
Well, in this case, it's not all a lie. There are some bits of truth, but there's enough bullshit in the truth in order to sway political opinions on projects and such. And
Yeah, and we
and
see that. Yeah, go
with
ahead.
things like redlining and stuff like that, they tell people, "Oh, we're putting this community together for your own benefit," and then decades down the road, suddenly it's like those same communities are being burned because they never came through with their promises. It's a sadistic method of gaining votes from people by telling them lies. Ugh.
Yeah, and I think the most of us don't even really believe our vote is that important, and it is. And that's where racism comes from. It's not a you and me thing, it's an institutional thing. And when people use the word racism, you can just look at them and be like, I'm not an institution, so get the fuck away from me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because it's bullshit, and I hate it. Because if you have any amount of education, you're going to know racism is institutionalized. It's not a you and me thing. They want to know what your color is so they can say, oh, we have, this percentage of that and this percentage of this. And so we need to put this money into here. And so we get the illusion that they're doing something for somebody
And
when they're
how
really
fucking
not doing anything
insulting.
for anybody.
How fucking
It's,
insulting is that?
it's
To
totally.
It's so fucking insulting. It's just if okay, like for instance, I currently fall into this thing called an intersection in whatever this woke politics bullshit is. Did you guys know that when I go to the doctor, I have like carte fucking blanche? Like
Mhm.
you might be
Red
waiting.
carpet.
Pardon me?
Red carpet.
Red carpet treatment is like
Yes.
I'm here, and they're like, oh, you're a transgender, well, let's move you up to the front of the line. It's like, well, I'm looking at, like, possibly other people, and I'm not looking at them in person because I don't go to places which require the masking. I can do without that. However, I can hear their stories, I can see their testimonies. Some people are on like waiting lists for like cancer treatment or for any number of, like, they need like a
Knee
replacement of something,
replacement.
any of that
Knee
stuff.
replacement.
And
Yeah.
instead, what is prioritized is like, oh, this man needs a zombie pussy installed, so let's put him at the front of the list and
Right?
just take up the resources. Meanwhile, the majority, remember, the trans people are supposed to be a very small percent of the population.
Yeah, but and they're upping their numbers though. That's why they gave you the red carpet material, the red carpet performance. I mean, there's so many reasons why you got the red carpet performance because you have the insurance you have. So, um, it's just so
It's
twisted. It's so
it's
twisted, and
sick. It's sick
and
because that's
it's
not equity.
really hurting. It's hurting us. It's hurting the real humans, the not. It's not hurting your spirit. Your spirit's alive and well.
Yeah,
You got a great
the spirit's
spirit.
good, but
Thank
the
God, and thank God
consciousness,
Pastor Shadowley came in your life and helped you with the spiritual stuff because I
along
really
with all the
believe that.
pawn friends. I mean, the pawn friend community, the Axe Truth community, very uplifting individuals, and it's like I can't imagine ever like losing the people I've gotten to know in this community and the other community, like the Axe Truth and the Salty Cracker community, because the community I come from is not a community, it's more like a prison. And it is sickening to watch. I mean, yeah, I get a lot of benefit, and at the same time, I'm listening to these same assholes say, oh, we need to spread equity. Oh, we need inclusivity. They're not practicing it.
No, they want to increase their equity, but whereas like I feel, and I know we're not. I mean, everybody has a reason why they do stuff. Um, but there are and this when we were talking about the lady with the duping delight that was greeting the immigrants, and someone was saying, well, there just
That was from
are
last
some
week,
people.
right?
Yeah, there just are some people that are really nice. That's what I think Super Trucker said. He said there are just some people, I think it was him. There are some people that are just really super, super nice and want to be helpful. Yeah, there are, and there are people. There are people who have been victimized who understand and are empathetic, and they cannot do anything but try to help you and give you a hand without needing something, because what they get, and I'm talking as a person who from that perspective, this is me. What I get from it is I get to learn about how things are working, in this situation. And I also get a sense of love for you and for loving myself, for being able to be there to hear the story. Um, and so it's an internal spiritual benefit that I'm getting. And I feel Pastor Chatelet is that way too. He's like, I love this shit. I'll talk about it all day long.
Yes.
Um, he doesn't. It's good that he's getting paid. And I had a psychiatrist once say to me, "Well, we need to get you paid." And I was like, I don't need to get paid. I
Now,
get paid. Gee.
for people who hear us talking about Pastor
And
Chatelet and have no idea who Pastor Chatelet is, let me drop his link just in case there are people out there who currently do not know.
look
Um,
it up, Shadowliy, Shadliy, I think it is. And I love that song, Shadowliy song. I don't know. I heard it the first time I ever went into the pond. He was playing that Shadowliy, Shadowliy. I remember that song from back in the day. Back in the day,
and you can
I had
find
heard
him
that
on
song.
Odysee.
I have a question.
Hey,
I had to jump in quick because I wouldn't be able to type it.
I could sense
The
you.
huh?
I could sense you. Continue.
Oh, all right. As long as you can't smell me, that'd be terrible.
Okay,
Is it shh?
what's up?
Um, this
She?
this Martin Ferrer person, is that a guy or a girl? What am I looking at right there on your
Where
screen?
are we? Oh my word.
Gosh.
Oh my word. I'm going to say that he is a direct descendant of Ichabod Crane. That's my assessment. And
Oh, the pretty girl.
do you see the Martin Ferrer sitting here right here looking all he looks like a school marm kind of and a victim. It is Halloween. This is the month of the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. So let's take the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and blend that with Sleepy Hollow, and then add this dude starring as the headless, well, having a head during the first part of the film and then losing his head later, because we all know what happens to Ichabod. But yes, I imagine he's mostly male. Let's see. Kelly, do you have any
I have no,
opinions?
I don't know who you guys are looking at. All I can use on is the Jitsi. I feel like otherwise I'm gonna be my computer
I'm
is
sharing it in the
probably
Jitsi.
so old it needs to get.
I'm sharing it
Oh,
in the
okay, I
Jitsi.
got the picture.
We
Why do
are
I got the picture of the two? Where am
we
I
are
at? Yeah,
going
of the
to have a
two
class.
towers.
Callie, you and I are going to have a class on how to do the Jitsi.
I know. I feel like my computer's just giving me hell.
Ugh. Let's see. Let's see. Super Trucker trying to figure out to have a doc about an ancient city they bulldozed to build a mall. Having a hard time finding it. Well, Trucker, please. What an interesting story that would be. Hey, we need a mall. Let's destroy this archaeological site. Schools. Callie. Maine. I don't know if you're still there. Maine is like the wind. He comes in very.
I'm gonna catch you later.
Okay, Maine. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I
Now,
had to dip out for a second and refresh my screen, and I'm in the Jitsi, and yeah, I got these towers still
uh,
shown. I'm seeing towers.
okay. Utilize those. I have a question while this is happening. Now, number one, did we answer Maine's question? That's the hot topic of the day. Number two, what happened now this whole like mall being built over like a civilization? Whatever happened to the Uvalde school? Did the Uvalde school get destroyed? Let's find out. Now, this
I have,
Ponzi scheme in China, I
I,
think we've well established the Chinese Communist Party is like just fucking people over. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point,
Okay. And one more thing.
yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard yesterday briefly, and I can't even remember where I heard it from, that Joe said all the Americans in China have to come back or they're going to lose their American citizenship.
All the Americans in China need to come back?
Yeah, otherwise they're going to lose their citizenship.
How the fuck does your citizenship expire
And
if you're like born in
so
a country?
I don't know. So supposedly all the tech workers quit and are coming back, and so this could just be propaganda too. I don't know. That's why I'm just saying I don't even remember where I heard it from. Which content creator? I gotta start making notes. Now you're making me work.
This is why, you know, when in the beginning, when you and I were talking about this, I was like, I can't pay you, girl. It's like,
Oh
so,
yeah, I don't.
do you
I
want
don't.
to change your mind on that?
No. Honestly, like I said, I work for one person, and you know who that is. And the audience doesn't know. I work for Jesus.
Yes.
I sing for Jesus. And having a scientific background and having gone to college, that's not a popular thing for me to say. But I've always been grounded in Jesus ever since I was very little. And I feel like a lot of my abuse came from me knowing Jesus too well. So, but that's okay, because in all my suffering, I haven't suffered as much as Jesus, and I haven't suffered as much as the children are right now. So,
well, that's one of the things we find out. The closer we get to salvation, the harder the road becomes. And that's why the footprints in the sand is so important to remember, that and the serenity prayer. I see that someone else has joined the Jitsi.
Yeah, I had to come back because
Hi.
I left, and then I immediately heard Callie mention something that made me want to come back and chat about it. So
Yes.
she mentioned, or you mentioned, sorry, Callie, you mentioned something about 2 minutes ago regarding Americans in China losing citizenship.
yeah.
Okay. Here's again, I have not seen a goddamn thing about this. All I heard is your comment. So obviously I don't have any info on it whatsoever.
I don't either, really.
Okay, if that's true, my immediate take on that is probably like most others. We have 6 million people crossing the border, fast tracking them into our country to be illegal citizens or whatever the fuck is going on. And you're going to tell me you're going to try to revoke actual American citizens' citizenship because they're in China?
I mean, the way the person was spinning it was that it's a part. I mean, it's the war. That's the war. We need to get our people here because we don't need to be supporting them. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can find that it was I think it was a tweet, and it was somebody on YouTube talking about the tweet.
Well, I'm at USA.gov, and I hope that the .gov indicates that it's actually a government, like,
Government, yes,
official type thing.
hopefully.
It is talking about, like, you'll no longer be an American citizen if you voluntarily give up or renounce your U.S. citizenship. Now, these are things which have already been on the books. I don't see anything specific to China. Is something that may require a little bit of a deeper dive to find out. I mean, obviously, it's going to require some research because we're currently speculating, and it's fun to speculate. It's even better when we know.
Yes.
So,
yes. It's better when we know. Well, and that's why I was kind of putting it out there, because I wanted to see if anybody else, that was part of the earlier conversation was, what information did you see this weekend? Like, I know a lot of people are intentionally watch certain shows, programs, whatever. But for me, it's all about what did they send me to watch? And I'm very cognitive that, if I click on something that wasn't my choice, I also go out with an intention of watching certain things. So that was one of those to me that I watched that I was like, wait, here we go. Is this it?
This might be it.
Yeah. So we're breaking some news here.
Well, it's 4 days old, but apparently, and let's see, it's from Fortune. Fortune. It's not so much Fortune. It's a bank I used to work for. As a statistician, I used to write articles for Forbes and Fortune, and they tried to
Yeah,
get
because I don't
they.
I don't want to be part of the misinformation
It's not
group. So
misinformation. They tried to get me to lie about the institutional trust and custody numbers at a certain
oh yeah, of course.
big bank I used to work for. So I quit. And
Yeah,
that's when I fucking retired because I was like, fuck this. It's like, I'm
do
not
it.
putting my name out there and putting it in an article and lying about like fucking billions of dollars being misapproved. See,
Hey,
I'm concerned about
math is
talking about it. Oh,
math is hard. Barbie told us math is hard.
it's not that the math was hard. It's that I clearly could
No,
see that the money was being fucking.
yeah,
It is.
that's
It
what
is
we're talking
real.
about right here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how they're fucking with our money, man. They're fucking with our cheddar.
They are. Okay, I don't want to get like too far off this one because DJ Basic is providing some links, so I'm just going to open those. I don't know if we're going to get to them because we're down to like our last 19 minutes. Let's look at this. Biden's chip controls, and I'm having deja vu, guys, so something's about to happen. Okay, so Biden's chip controls may force Chinese Americans working in China's semiconductor firms to choose between their citizenship or their job. Now, why would Biden do that? Well, could it be that recently Biden has been screaming and yelling about getting chip manufacturing jobs back into the United States, which on the surface actually seems like a good thing? In my opinion, getting these jobs back to American citizens would be it would be good for us to have
Which
that kind of
citizens are
production.
those? Are those the new citizens that just came over the border?
I don't think didn't Biden say you don't even need a college degree to
Degree?
work these new jobs?
We were talking. I asked earlier, what was your worst job, and it just flashed on me. I worked in a chip straightening facility at Intel for 1 8-hour shift, and I was in hell the whole fucking time.
So this is what Biden's administration is doing. And you know what? We know that it's not Biden's not at the helm. We know that. He's just the front man. This is to it is going okay, so it's going to be good for us from a manufacturing point of view, and at the same time, it's going to be environmentally toxic. It's going to what is the word? Exploit,
Financially crush China's workforce.
which is going, I mean, that's just like, why would we want that on a global scale? I'm not a globalist. However, well, it's not however, it's I'm not a globalist, and at the same time, I understand the importance of global stability within the markets and international trade. If China actually does collapse, that is going to mean a bunch of grabby hands at a global level will come in and start grabbing at whatever. And we're talking about people. I mean, the Chinese Communist Party is one thing. Don't like it. The people who are under the thumb of Chinese communism, who don't want to be, as we have seen, there have been revolts, there have been protests, and these people have been fucking murdered for wanting to not be under the thumb of communism. Those
And
people.
some of those are already Christians, and all of them are God's children.
Right. So there is, I mean, how, if China falls and if we end up exploiting cheap labor, because this is where this is going, I can say this definitively. This is not a conspiracy. Looking at the way that other people from upset nations are pouring into our country, and then Biden talking about making jobs where you do not need that much experience. Cali Girl's testament of what is chip straightening, if you may elaborate.
Oh my God, it's so boring. And okay, so you're in a room kind of like this, and there's a table, and you got maybe 10 people on one side, there's a glass partition, you got 10 people on the other side, you're not allowed to talk to the person next to you. All you do is you grab a chip, and the chips I was working on, they were probably maybe an inch and a half, maybe two. And then on each side of those chips, there was like a metal, these like little metal teeth. And you had to make sure those were straight because they were going to go into something, into the processor. So you just would run it through this, it was 8 hours of just making sure those teeth were
It
straight.
sounds tedious.
Oh, it was the worst. I got the job with one of my high school girlfriends. Her dad actually got us the job, and everybody else in there was an adult. We were 17. It was in the summertime, and they were paying us pretty darn good.
everybody,
They
I
were
have
paying us
video
about
here.
11. This was in the 70s, and I did it for 8 hours. I thought I was gonna die by the end of the 8 hours. I was in tears. I was so freaking bored, and having my friend right next to me, wanting to talk to her and talk about boys or whatever, being 17. I was just like, no, no, I did not go back. I didn't even bother quitting. I couldn't. It's boring, tedious work. But hey, they paid good. It was good pay. It was, for any adult that didn't have that needed to pay for their family. That was good money. Then that was, you could buy a house, you could buy a car, you could have and plus they probably had a good benefits package too. I don't know. I don't remember any of that because I was just like, I was 17. I was young and dumb, and I was, just not even. No, no, no. I couldn't do it today. No, 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 no.
You take people though who are, and I want to touch on something Can Killer said. So we are sending the commie spies back to China. Now that would be nice. I don't know if that's the case. I
2 million of them.
I
They
mean we've got,
say.
pardon me?
They say there's 2 million of them here.
Spies?
Yes.
How many do we have in other countries also? I mean,
I don't know.
when it comes
And that's
down to
another
it,
thing that I don't have the receipts on that, so I should probably not just say that. But it's been reported somewhere by somebody
well, I
doing
don't know the
something.
exact number either, but I will say this just from just from a military background and working with the government, it's like who isn't spying on somebody? It's and it comes down to our own personal choices. I mean, like a lot of us choose to be spied on. This filter I'm using right now to like make myself look like this hideous clown, it's Chinese spyware. I'm fully aware. That's why I use it on a desktop that doesn't have any of my personal information on it, and it's like triple firewalled from the rest of my home network. It's like I know what this shit is. So I don't do anything confidential on this particular setup.
Yeah, I
But
don't have anything on my computer either.
but we
It's just
choose. I mean, we choose to be spied on in many cases. So it doesn't even require that a person be geolocated anywhere because we sign these like user agreements when we use the software. They collect our data all the time. And it's like that's why if you're gonna use this third party shit, the
And
spyware,
the
pardon?
hackers taught us that. The hackers taught us that in the 90s that, no, there's no safe space. That's why I don't understand doing your medical on online and even doing it on telephones because we never did medical stuff on telephones back in the day when we had telephones.
I want to answer
Really?
something. DJ Basic, when I worked at a hotel in Iceland, we would have many Chinese tourists come through. Every single one of them had a common, well, with the exception of the one. There was one super rich Chinese business mogul who came through, and she was very demanding. Okay? The other Chinese tourists had saved up their whole entire lives to see the world, and they took photographs of everything. There's a stereotype of the Chinese taking a lot of photos. I found out why. They don't get to leave the country. And when they do get to leave the country, it's their only opportunity to save memories. And that's why they photograph everything, because they have family members who will never leave the country. And so they bring those photographs back to the people. And then what's sick about it is that the Communist Party will censor their experiences outside of the country. So if they see a photograph that they don't like for whatever reason, those memories get erased. Those people are not allowed to maintain those memories in a physical format. They are destroyed. It's pretty sad. I mean, it's pretty sad. Now the ones from God, where was she from? Was she from Shanghai? I forget. Very demanding, very treated everyone like absolute garbage. Was very demanding about having the children kicked off their trampoline so she could use, like the Icelandic children. She was like, remove those remove those children so I may jump on that. I mean, she was a diva. Fucking just satanic, I swear. Oh dear, the chat's got away and we're about to end the show in like a little bit. Oh, let's see. I know, Lady Ninja, it is sad. Let's see. I know.
Our hour goes fast, but we try to pack as much information as we can, and then take it, research it, figure it out, come back, join the Jitsi, talk about it with us. How do you feel about it?
And I see that we have a number of articles we didn't get to. We'll probably put them in tomorrow's show because tomorrow's the extended format show where we can talk about a lot more. And like I said, it tends to go off the rails and it's fun. I love Tuesdays and Thursdays because it's crazy. Let's see. Should we wrap up on Biden's? Let's see. These imposing tech restrictions on China. Let's just put it this way. Get ready to hold onto your ankles because this might hurt a little bit. That's all I have to say. In reality, the reality is that these people are fucking crazy. They're doing way too much, way too quickly because these same people mismanage this shit and they're trying to cover their tracks. But we see you. We totally see you.
Like trying to manage his own people, but doesn't care about how all the other people. I don't know, man, dude.
These people. I mean, they've become so detached from reality while trying to run these countries. They need to get back to the people. They actually need to not be afraid to get down with the people and find out what the fuck is going on and stop holding these stupid ass gala events and these fucking stupid niche groups like these special interests and stuff like that. Fuck. It's like everyone on the planet, everyone in your country, if you're a leader of a country, everyone in your country should be interesting to you, not just the special interests and shit like that. Because quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, these special interest groups are just pandering and it's insulting, and I reject it. I reject it so hard because it's condescending. It's fucking ugh. I'm not your child. Don't treat me like I'm yours. I'm not. I'm disgusted by you. You're an abusive partner. Whoever you may be out there, especially you, Joe Biden. It's like I could never love you because you're abusive and kind of fucked up and just ugh. It's like I what is the word, Callie? What is it when you don't want someone to talk to you and if they do, you get a restraining order on them? What is that called?
I don't know.
Cease and desist. I am cease and desist.
He said what it is. He's basically, the person you want a restraining order from. Like, you don't tread on me. This is the whole. Like, we're seeing so many. I don't know if I hope the wake people are going to wake or the woke. I mean, being awake and baker is different than being woke.
Well, yeah.
I just hope that they can see that you're getting a clear-cut view of the phenomena of Marxism, the bourgeoisie, the elite, and then I think it's just the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. And I really don't think the elite are the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie is somebody else, but they think the elite think they're the bourgeoisie, and that's why they're acting the way they're acting, because they think they're untouchable.
Do they understand what happened to the bourgeoisie in Italy?
I don't think they know anything. I don't think they
never
care.
Seen
they don't think
100 Days of Sodom? I mean, good God. Go on, sorry.
I'm sorry. We're going to run in. This is Satanism. This is
It is.
Satanism. 100% Satanists don't care. All they care about is their gratification. It doesn't feel good now, then I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's trafficking. It doesn't matter if it's borrowing money. It doesn't matter if it's usury. It doesn't matter if it's war. It doesn't matter if it makes them happy. And what really makes them happy is destroying things, it seems like. Destroying healthy, productive, loving. Well, we know it's it's good or bad. Either you're good or you're bad, and we've gotten down to that lowest form of intelligence. Either you're for Jesus and doing what's right, and or you're not. You're a Satanist, and that's what I got in a fight with my friend about. So, anyways, yeah, that's it, and that's not forgiving. That's not in a forgiving space. So, probably maybe I need to talk to Pastor Shadowley about this.
May I ask a personal question?
Yes, you may.
Was it Terry?
No, it's nobody. It's nobody on the internet.
Okay,
She's not.
okay,
She's
okay.
not on it. This is a person I went to high school with before there was even internet. Yeah, this is
Yes.
someone that I've known for a long time. And after high school, we became adult friends about 15 years ago, 12 years ago. And
Hmm.
she really helped me through some of the darkest times and actually has helped me heal. She's brought me to a place where, through her kindness and her friendship, has helped me heal some of my old childhood wounds. But also learning that my mom had given away a baby and that I was a replacement baby. That was also another part of my healing because I knew the truth now.
Yes.
The truth will set you free.
Yes. And while it's setting you free, it can leave some wounds. It's a good
Yes.
thing that we have the ability to heal. Hey, good morning, Feisty.
Yes.
Loved your
Yeah.
show yesterday with Reverend Rant. Callie,
Yeah.
it looks like
We're
45 is starting his show.
cool. I'm gonna go for my walk.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up and send all these savages on over to 45 One's Big Dick Energy Brigade radio show.
Okay, God is love. Sending hugs and loves to everybody, and I will keep some of you in prayers by name, and all of you in prayer by what are they called in? Grafting you in.
Yes, grafting you in.
Okay.
Love you, Callie.
Love you guys.
See you tomorrow. All right, and that brings us to the end of this stream. Let's see. One last thing before I go. I have to do this. If I could just get this tab back. It's not like anyone really needs help getting over to 45 One's show. But just in case you're new here, here's the link to 45 One. Salty Mad Jamison, good morning. It's okay, sweetie. Love you too. Let's get on over to this radio show. Oh, it started. Here comes the closing. Ah! So much chaos. Here we go. Okay. God bless. See you tomorrow.